Welcome in everybody to my first rookie player profile video of 2022. I am super excited to be doing this again for the 2022 class. So just like last year, this is the first of a 12-part series breaking down my top 12 non-quarterback rookies. And then we'll have two additional videos at the end of this, one of them focusing entirely on this quarterback class, and then the other one summarizing the remaining players and highlighting some of my favorite late round guys. And of course, we will be doing rookie mock drafts all the way through June. So if you are new here, please hit that subscribe button to get all of the amazing rookie content coming your way over the next few months. So with all that said, let's take a look at my number one ranked rookie in this class, my 101 in one quarterback leagues, and probably my 1.02 in super flex leagues. Breece Hall, running back out of Iowa State. And Hall is fantastic. And while he was not immediately labeled the 1.01 in rookie drafts back in February, the combine really opened up a lot of people's eyes to his potential as a stud NFL running back. And we know in Dynasty that those stud rookie running backs will always be valued just a little bit more than stud rookie wide receivers because of that positional scarcity. But looking at Hall's collegiate career, he immediately began as the Iowa State's RB1 in his freshman year back in 2019 as the new replacement to David Montgomery. He totaled 1,149 total yards, 10 total touchdowns on over 200 touches off the rip as an 18-year-old running back. He then followed that up with a breakout sophomore campaign in 2020, totaling 1,752 yards and 23 total touchdowns, destroying defenses. He had 7 out of his 12 games with 130 rushing yards and double-digit touchdowns. And in fact, he scored double-digit touchdowns in all but 3 of his games in that season. And then this past year, 2021, his junior year in college, he basically just replicated what he did in 2020 across the board, but this time he showed a little bit more in the receiving game than what he did in his first 2 seasons, setting career highs in every receiving category, which is very nice to see our rookie running backs do in college, as it just makes it easier for us to project that workload for them into the NFL. So moving into my world, the analytics world for Breece Hall, and I need to reintroduce you all first to my marker system. And this is not some fancy model or machine learning algorithm that just spits out my final rankings, no questions asked. Instead, this marker system is basically just a series of checkboxes that I need to see those players hit, and those checkboxes were created based on what previous successful running backs did in the NFL in college. So for running backs, I have a total of 8 markers that I want to see these players hit, and they are first or second round draft capital, weighing at least 200 pounds, and a BMI then of 29.75 or more, a sub 4.6 40-yard dash, a 100 plus speed score. And if you don't know what that is, that's basically just a small normalization of 40-yard dash times by their weight, at least 1,000 total yards in your freshman or sophomore season, a career yards per carry of 6 or more, and then finally 1 season with 25 or more receptions. So those are the 8 markers that I have. And for reference, there are only 8 players in my database since 2005 who have ever hit all 8 markers coming out of college. And they were Travis Etienne, Jonathan Taylor, DeAndre Swift, Sony Michel, Joe Mixon, Ezekiel Elliott, Marshawn Lynch, and D'Angelo Williams. So that is a pretty good list. And that's not to say that anything less than 8 is bad. In fact, hitting 7 out of 8 is also very good, as that is where a lot of other elite running backs fell, like Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, Maurice Jones-Drew, Leonard Fournette, Dalvin Cook, Cam Akers, J.K. Dobbins, Javonte Williams. All of those guys were 7 out of 8 players as well, so it's also a very good list to be on. Moving back to Breece Hall, now that we have that out of the way, and looking at his college career using my marker system, and he is currently sitting at 6 out of 8 markers, which is the highest in this class, and will most likely finish as the only running back in this class with 7 out of 8 markers once he gets drafted in that first or second round of the NFL draft. He hits on size at 5'11", 217 pounds, which also put him above a BMI of 30. He ran an incredible 4.3940 at the combine, which, say what you will about times this year at the combine, but that more than clears my 4.6 baseline. From that 40, he is sitting at an amazing 116 speed score, which is also the highest in this class. And he hit on early production with not only his breakout sophomore year, but also from his immediate production in his freshman season back in 2019. He just broke 25 receptions this past year, and like I said, I expect him to be a first or second round pick in the NFL draft, which brings him all the way to 7 out of 8 markers. And the only thing that he misses on is career yards per carry, which was 5.4 in his career and under the 6 that I am looking for. Analytically, this dude is awesome. And looking through my database, he comps very closely to guys like DeMarco Murray, Joseph Adai, Rashard Mendenhall, and Ryan Matthews with a single T. 3 of those guys were first-round picks over a decade ago. DeMarco Murray was a third-round pick in the NFL draft. All 4 players, however, did produce at least one RB1 season in their careers and multiple other RB2 seasons, which is great to see for Breece Hall. The final thing that I want to talk about for Hall is potential landing spots and where he could land, not only to solidify him as the rookie 1.01, maybe even more than he already is, but also maximize his fantasy ceiling. And I think there are a few teams that could do that in that late first, early second round range. Number 1, honestly, I cannot think of a better landing spot for Breece Hall than the Miami Dolphins at 29 overall, a pick that they got from last year from that San Francisco 49ers Trey Lance trade. And speaking of last year, we were placing a rookie running back in 2021 on the Dolphins all last draft season. And while they didn't take one, they are now again in prime spot to take the first running back off the board at 29 overall. So put Breece Hall into a San Francisco-like offense from Mike McDaniel on a team with literally zero competition for touches, and we are potentially looking at a very similar situation to what we had in Najee Harris last year. Number 2, the other team that everybody wants Hall to go to is the Atlanta Falcons with the 211 or 43rd overall. This one is also a very strong match as Breece Hall is coming from a team that ran a lot of zone scheme runs in college and would then be going to an NFL team under Arthur Smith, who runs a lot of zone scheme runs. My only fear with the Atlanta Falcons is just the direction that the team is headed in. Moving on from Matt Ryan probably next year, if not this year. The team itself is already pretty bad. Will Arthur Smith even be the head coach for much longer if the team continues to lose? I mean, there's just not a lot of winning going on in Atlanta. While that's not necessarily bad for running backs and wouldn't change my opinion of Hall, I do think that his ceiling would be lowered a tiny bit by going to the Atlanta Falcons than the Miami Dolphins. Although all of that to say, I don't even think Breece Hall is on their radar after the Calvin Ridley suspension because they need wide receivers badly, and drafting a running back in round 2 of the NFL draft doesn't make a lot of sense to me for them to do. The final team that I want to highlight specifically is the Buffalo Bills, who are currently sitting at 25 overall, just ahead of the Miami Dolphins. And there are rumors last year that the Bills would be in on drafting a Najee Harris or Travis Etienne last year if either were available at their pick. Of course, neither one of those players were available, so we would never actually know if that were true, but the running back position has been one that the Bills have never really had since LaShawn McCoy. And while Devin Singletary has been fine and Zach Moss hasn't panned out exactly how they wanted to, they could look to upgrade that position with Breece Hall. And on the surface, people probably would rather have Hall go to the Falcons than the Buffalo Bills, but I actually like the Buffalo Bills more than the Falcons because they're just a better team overall. So they have opportunities for more rushing and receiving yards, more touchdowns, plus positive game scripts at the end of games. We saw how good Devin Singletary was for fantasy at the end of 2021. So imagine if a better running back was doing that instead of Devin Singletary. So I like the Buffalo Bills as a landing spot, and I would actually be interested to see them make that kind of move in the NFL draft. And then there are a bunch of teams that, at least at the time of recording this, we do not have clarification on their free agents and who is and who is not returning to their teams. I mean, the Cardinals would be a great spot if James Conner wasn't back. I would be intrigued by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers without Leonard Fournette and Ronald Jones. Seattle would be really interesting if they don't re-sign Penny with Chris Carson's neck injury. The Giants could be interesting as well if they actually trade Saquon Barkley. Even the Houston Texans might not be the worst landing spot either, but ultimately, what I'm going to be doing is manifesting Breece Hall to the Miami Dolphins all draft season long, and I think you all should join me in that as well. So that is my breakdown of my 1.01 in this 2022 class, Breece Hall out of Iowa State. Make sure you hit that like button to let me know that you guys also love Breece Hall as much as I do, and be sure to hit that subscribe button if you are not yet subscribed to get more content from the DLF YouTube channel as we continue on through this rookie draft season. I want to let you guys know that this video is sponsored by FanDuel Sportsbook. Even though the NFL season is done, it's still a fantastic time to sign up for FanDuel Sportsbook and begin placing bets and winning some money, because you can still place bets on NFL futures like the Super Bowl winner, division winners, and the NFL draft. Prop bets are coming up here very, very shortly with the NFL draft. And they're currently offering a fantastic promotion right now where you get a $1,000 risk-free bet for first-time users signing up. So if you haven't signed up for FanDuel Sportsbook, now is a fantastic time to do so. And if you are interested, you can click that link down in the description down below to help get you guys set up and moving towards that $1,000 risk-free bet.